Hi, I'm Dan Hoost, Communications Director for Sullivan County Government. I am here in the Legislative Hearing Room with our GIS Coordinator Jenn Stone. Jenn, welcome.
Thank you, Dan. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, we're glad to have you. We are going to be talking about GIS and explaining what that means, especially since we are coming up on National GIS Day. But first, Jenn, I'd just like to ask how long you've been with the county and what got you involved in GIS? What intrigues you about it?
Well, I've been working with the county since 2005, so 16 years now. And actually, GIS I happened to by accident. I have my degree in computer-aided drafting and machining, and there were no jobs to be found for that, so I started working for a cartography firm, which is mapping. And eventually I ended up right back home where I started from, Sullivan County, New York, doing mapping here. And GIS I absolutely love because it takes that organized side of my brain and puts it together with the creative side of my brain so I can enjoy every single day that I'm working.
Excellent. Yeah, and all of us who work with Jenn know she really loves what she does. It shows in everything that she does. So let's talk a little bit about this. First off, of course, what is GIS?
Well, GIS, anybody who has an inkling of what it is, they know that it stands for Geographic Information Systems, and they know that it has to do with mapping. And yes, GIS is all about the maps. However, there is a term used for GIS which I think really best describes it. It's called the science of where. I know that might sound like kind of a made-up term, but Google it, you'll find it. Most sciences focus on one specific field, but the beauty of GIS is that it can be used across the spectrum. It's used in almost all fields because it answers that vital question of where. I mean, you always have questions like, where is the nearest grocery store? Where are the winds the strongest? Where is pollution affecting the world the most? Where is it safe to travel? Where is really a question that we ask every day, and GIS is how you get those answers. Every time you use Google Maps, you're using GIS. Your phone is able to pull up information for anything near you because of GIS. Every time you watch a weather broadcast, you're using GIS. GIS is everywhere. Usually it's tucked in behind the scenes, quiet in their little corner like I prefer to be, providing invaluable insight and data analysis to everyone, everywhere.
So why is it important, especially to what we do here in Sullivan County government?
Well, a lot of us have heard the old axiom, a picture is worth 1,000 words, excuse me. In today's society, though, maps are worth twice that. GIS maps allow leaders to make informed, insightful decisions because they can visualize the information. It's not just numbers anymore. For example, regarding COVID, can you imagine our residents having to review spreadsheets of information about demographics and case counts and percentages and vaccination rates and hospitalizations? Even worse, can you imagine somebody doing that every single day because they want to stay informed? Or county staff having to generate those reports for you every single day so that you can stay informed? Now, when you add GIS into the picture, if you take that data and convert it into maps and graphs using GIS as we did, our residents can stay informed, our leaders can make decisions, our emergency responders can be safer, and our staff can continue functioning in a way that is most effective for you.
So can you show us some of what we do?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay.
Up here we have a number of apps that are available for public use. Some of them you may be familiar with. I can almost guarantee that most of you are familiar with our COVID-19 dashboard. But the one I wanted to focus on a little bit today, right now, is our intervention and prevention dashboard. It embeds another app that we have called My Neighborhood Services, which you see highlighted over here on the right. This is the GIS aspect of it. It takes data from that map and puts it over here so that we can filter and focus on those services that can most benefit our residents and our visitors that are suffering and having to deal with the trauma every day of substance use disorder. So this is one of the things we do to try to make your life better and to improve the quality of life for everyone in Sullivan County?
We have National GIS Day, and actually isn't it sort of a week and a month too? I think it all works into that. But this is a time for you and your colleagues to really shine in what you offer to people. So show us what people can do with GIS and how to celebrate GIS Day.
Well, GIS Day is always held on the Wednesday of National Geography Awareness Week, which is the week before Thanksgiving in November. And it is really a time to highlight what we do and how much we enjoy it, honestly, because it is such a fun field. But what we have up here, as you know, there's many familiar apps up here for many of you watching this right now, like our Find a Warming and Cooling Center. You can find centers where you can be safe in extreme temperatures. You can find bus stops and bus times using our Move Sullivan. Let's get that out of the way. Move Sullivan locator, and you can find your election district. But what I really wanted to highlight today, which emphasizes how fun GIS Day can be and how enjoyable GIS is as a field, is our Celebrate GIS Gallery. Now, this was designed specifically for GIS Day, but I will be leaving it up in the entirety for the entire duration of November. After that, there are certain elements which will become permanent fixtures on our website. So, adult adjacent. Those are for our teenagers. My son told me that's the appropriate term to use, so that's what we went with. Adult adjacent. Inside of this, you'll find resources, GIS resources and maps that are fun for teenagers to really introduce them to GIS, like in this lesson, an introduction to maps and global ecosystem explorers. You'll also find fun maps that they can explore themselves, both in 3D, like this Western Pacific typhoons, and in 2D, like many of the rest of these here. Answering questions that are relevant to them. Our seniors might want to know food and nightlife in New York City. That can be a fun map to explore for that. They might want to know about job accessibility. These are all things that can be done via GIS. Then we also have our Educators Corner. GIS in education is something that's really important to me because I know around here in Sullivan County, being such a small little community, tucked up in the Catskills, we don't have a huge GIS pool. So this resource gives our educators the opportunity to share that love for GIS and geography within their classrooms. I do plan on making that a more permanent feature. We also have geography treasure hunts. These are fun, interactive maps put out by Esri that we can use to explore different places in the world. Not all of us can afford to, be jet setters, but this allows us to learn about those places in a really fun, interactive way. For example, with this, you can move the map around, looking for the place that meets this hint. And it'll tell you whether your answer is right. It'll give you information. It teaches you while making it fun and interactive. We're not going to leave out our little ones. They are right down here in my Mappy Kids, Happy Kids gallery, where we have coloring sheets and activity workbooks. GIS does not have to start in high school. GIS can start as early as your toddler years, where you discover a love for learning and mapping and geography and everything that it means in the world today. One of the things I'm really excited about in here, and which I really enjoyed making for you, is the history of Sullivan County GIS. We have spent 50 years getting to this point in our growth, and a lot of it was because of contributions that you made, suggestions you made to me, and I really want to thank you for giving us those suggestions, because that's what allowed us to continue to grow. Your input was invaluable in our growth. But when you scroll through here, this is a story map, and you can please feel free to explore and see everything we've accomplished over the past 50 years. You will learn all about where we've been and where we are and where we're going in the future. You might see some familiar faces too. So have fun with that. And I look forward to hearing back from you as to what you think of that. The other thing that I thought was really fun and is a forward-thinking aspect of things, which I would love to see because I'm a gamer. Believe it or not, I love to play video games. Blame it on my son. He got me started on it. But GIS and gaming is starting to come together to change the way we look at maps. We're used to paper maps. We're used to nice, pretty maps on the screen. But now we can take a 3D environment like the one that's going to be loading here in a minute, and they can turn that into a gaming platform or gaming terrain using a gaming engine. And you say, oh, well, that's just for kids, right? Not anymore. It's really interesting because they can now use 3D scenes like this, taken from real world data, to create virtual reality situations for urban planning, for public safety, to evaluate inundation and flood situations, and it's really something I would love to see us get into eventually. Maybe I just want to play with the VR goggles, but you never know. But anyways, I think the young ones will really like this too, because it goes to show exactly how much GIS has grown, not just here in Sullivan County, but around the world, and how much fun it can be.
Right. If people want to find out more information about the GIS program in Sullivan County, they can go to our website, which is where this is located, right?
Yes. You can access this through our GIS department webpage. If you go to sullivany.us, select Find a Department, and select the GIS or Geographic Information Systems department page. Then click on that lovely yellow picture in the middle if you want to explore our Celebrate GIS gallery, or the app gallery link on the left to explore the apps we've made for the public. So.
All right.